Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Franklin Ebelechukwu, and I will be guiding you through today's section on graphics design in conservation science. This training is proudly organized by the Society for Ecological Restoration (SCL), University of Lagos Student Chapter, a body that is committed to equipping young environmentalists, educators, conservationists with practical digital tools to drive ecological impact. Today, we are going to explore how visual storytelling can elevate scientific communication, environmental campaigns, public engagement towards conservation efforts. Yeah, so without wasting time, um, I'll be talking on what graphic design is and its application in conservation. So before linking graphic design to conservation, I would like to give a short definition of what graphic design entails. So, graphic design is just the act of using visual content to communicate messages, visual content that are seen physically to communicate messages. This act of using visual content like images, text, colors, layout to communicate ideas effectively. In conservation science, design becomes a powerful tool because it allows us to turn complex research into easy to understand visuals. It helps us to create compelling educational posters, flyers, infographics, etc. Like this PowerPoint presentation was created using a graphics design tool. It also helps us to design materials for social media advocacy, what we put out there for conservation efforts. We have an endangered species that we're interested in and we want to put it out there on social media. We create the graphics, trying to um, showcase awareness and tell people about the animal and all that. And importantly, it helps us to inspire action because a well crafted image can help sometimes move hearts, and pictures move hearts more than 1,000 words. So pictures move hearts more than 1,000 words. So yeah, why is graphic design important for conservation media? Why is it crucial for conservation media? Yeah, so hello everyone. Still on today's training, the 2 days creative workshop organized by the Society for Ecological Restoration, University of Lagos chapter. I'll be taking you on graphics design basics and its application in conservation science. Yeah, so I want to welcome everyone and introduce myself again. My name is Franklin Ebelechukwu, and I'll be guiding you through this section on graphics design in conservation science. This training is proudly organized by the Society for Ecological Restoration, University of Lagos Student Chapter, a body committed to equipping young environmentalists, educators, conservationists with practical digital tools to drive ecological impact. Today, we'll explore how visual storytelling can elevate scientific communication, environmental campaigns, public awareness, public engagement in conservation efforts. Yeah, so let's jump in. So, what is graphics design in conservation? Why is graphic design important in conservation? Let's start with the basics, which is graphics design. Graphic design, especially in the context of conservation, graphic design is the act of using visual content like images, text colors, layouts to communicate ideas effectively. In conservation science, graphic design becomes a powerful ally because it allows us to turn complex research into easy to understand visuals. It helps us to digest scientific data that are very cumbersome to understand, because when we have infographics, chart, and diagrams, a layman can easily pick up what we're talking about and the public can easily understand. Yeah, so number two, it helps us to create awareness and educational materials. It create compelling educational posters, flyers, infographics that are very crucial to promote environmental awareness campaigns or academic programs. It also helps us to design campaign posters, infographics, social media visuals, which will help us to share our work out there, reach out a wider audience, advocate for causes that are more effectively. It inspires behavioral change and advocacy by compelling images or well crafted visual messages that can influence viewers emotionally and intellectually to take conservation action. This it's a very, very important one because I once saw a graphics design on World Snake Day. the there was a graphics design that was done, and in the graphics context I saw something like, if you want to shoot any animal, use camera. And the moment I saw that picture, I reposted it across all my social media platform because it's captivated me. It drew my attention, and I was like, oh wow, this is really catchy. And it's something that's it's everybody can jump onto and say, oh yeah, if you want to shoot any animal, use camera. More like a vibe kind of thing. Yeah. For this our generation, yeah. So that is all on what graphic design is and its application in conservation science. So why is graphic design important in conservation media? Graphic design is important in conservation for these four core reasons. There are a lot of reasons though, but I'll just mention these four core reasons. One, retention. It is believed that people who see things, they tend to remember them than people who read things. They remember those things better than people who read things. So people who remember 80% of what they see compared to just 20% of what they read from diagrams and other things. And what they see, the messages sticks better. Yeah. So it's also crucial for conservation media because it creates some sort of emotional appeal. A single image of a burnt forest or an endangered pangolin can move people emotionally and say, oh wow, so this guy is really endangered. Oh, we're not going to see this guy. We keep on poaching, etc., etc. And it will drive emotions. And once emotions are put into place, emotions will drive action. Yeah, so the social media impact, today's conservation effort needs to go viral. Yeah, and social, this century is social media centric. So whatever you want to go viral, you just need to use social media to put it out there, and a lot of people will consume and digest your information. So visuals gets more likes, shares, comments than just plain text. Yeah. So simplification, like I said, it helps simplifies data. Ecology and conservation can be technical. It breaks down designs, complex terms into something accessible, especially for students, the public, or policymakers. So yeah, why graphic tools used in phones and laptop? So this section I will be talking on the tools, graphic tools available, the platform to use them on, the level of experience required to use them, and if it is free or paid. The first on my list is going to be the Canva, which is excellent for beginners, available on web and mobile platforms with tons of templates and that are free, and some of them are paid. We have the Adobe Photoshop, which is more advanced and ideal for for detailed work. If you want a very detailed work, you can use the Adobe Photoshop. And we have tools like Pixlr, Adobe Express, Figma that offer a lot of balance and functionality for ease of use. And if you want vector graphics like logos, illustration, you can use Inkscape. You can also use Figma, and you can use Crello too. So you need to pick what fits your level and budget. And the key is to start with what you are comfortable with and grow from there. Because me saying Canva has a beginner level requirement does not mean that there are not advanced things to do on Canva. But you need to just start with something you're comfortable with, and then you just pick up and grow from there. You expand gradually. as with time. So yeah, let's jump on the principles of design. You cannot understand how to design if you do not understand the principles of design. So principles of design is just giving you an overview of what it takes to design a particular thing. You need to have information on the color theory, the combination, gradients, styles, contrast, brightness, use of color, and the rest of them. So yeah, principles of design. Yeah, you can't design without having an overview of what it takes to design, the principle attached to it, color combination theories, use of gradients, shapes, icon, how to upload, getting familiar with design environments, tools, and etc. etc. So design is not just about being creative, it's about understanding the science of visual communication. Yeah. So to begin with, you need to understand the color theory and combination, primary colors, red, blue, yellow, combined with secondary colors like green, orange, and purple, complementary colors, which also sits opposite to a color wheel, analog colors for harmony, ideal for backgrounds, etc. etc. Yeah, you can see I used the SUR logo to depict the primary color, the secondary color, and the tertiary color. Primary colors are always very prominent in designs. Like when you are designing, you ensure you make use of the primary color the most. You can also blend in with the secondary color and the tertiary color, but ensure the primary color is auspicious and it is very visible. In conservation, you also need to be able to identify some certain colors for some certain things. For example, when you want to depict nature, you use green. When you want to use depict like a water body or talk about a water body, you have to use blue. Clean air, brown soil, earth, everything, you have to use brown. Then also psychology, color psychology, blue trust, green sustainability, red urgency. Red is always used to denote a bad thing or something that is poor in color ranking metrics. Yeah, and green good, yellow medium, etc. etc. So that's on the principle of design. Still on the principle of design, like I said, we need to know understand about contrast, which helps you to your elements stand out. You need to know how to use light on black on white designs or white on black designs, and you need to understand hierarchy and focus attention when you want to. Alignment, which allows you to visually align your text left, center, right, middle, justified. Misalignment makes your work and your design feel really chaotic. So yeah, font types, style, and the rest. For my most favorite font type is Poppins. Yeah, Poppins is one of the font types I usually use a lot, and I also love using Montserrat. Montserrat is another like very cool text that denotes a lot of things. Yeah, so that's on the principle of design. Next slide. Yeah, still on the principle of design, we have use of shape, icons, photos to highlight separate context, icons supports photos and etc. etc. We have gradient and transparency. Transparency is how you want your text to appear. If you want it 100%, if you want it dim, you reduce it to 50, 30, and how you want, so whatever you want it. Transparency or opacity, yeah. So yeah, so introduction to the Canva environment. Yeah, for this training, we'll be taking Canva, using Canva as our tool. So now let's take a closer look at Canva, one of the most user-friendly platforms out there. It's a very simple drag and drop, mobile-friendly tool, packed with a lot of templates, fonts, icons, and illustration. It also helps us to explore a lot of text tools, to stylish fonts, color palettes, apply themes, elements, shapes, and graphics. Canva also lets you animate slides, It helps you manage layers, adjust transparency for advanced effects, and it is user friendly for non-designers. This tool is a game changer to conservation science, and the free versions already gives you everything you need to get started with. Like I said, it is beginner friendly. Yeah, um this is a design sample in which the principle of design was applied to, like it was explained in the previous slide, all about understanding color gradients, text, fonts, logo, shapes. And before you decide to design a flyer or whatever you want to design, you must have this idea and concept. You can also look at people's work so that you can emulate such work and try to design yours, craft out ideas and all that. For this logo, you can see the SR logo. I wanted it by my left, I wanted the Unilag logo by my right, I wanted the text in the middle, I wanted the present inside this rectangular box that is filled in blue color. The present, I used the fancy font and I italicized it. Also, a creative skill 2 days workshop. I had to put a rectangular shape and I filled it with a yellow a fill so that the text will come out well. You can also see on the theme, which is nature-based creativity. I try to distinguish the theme so that it will be auspicious and also draw attention. Looking at the theme now, you can see that nature-based creativity, the science of conservation, it is very auspicious that it will draw your attention out to read and then meet the team, the guest speakers, all that. This is a gradient view. Behind the guest speakers, I try to use a gradient view so that it will bring like a little bit disparity between each speakers and also pronounce them. Like I said, remember we talked about primary, tertiary colors. I try to use SCL colors to work on the design. The primary color, the blue, secondly, the yellow and ash for the text. As you can see, the dates, icon dates, they are just logos with text. The free registration is just a text with a rectangular fill of yellow. The footer area which carries the register now, also a shape rectangular shape that has a gradient fill. The rectangular shape is also in blue, then the text showing the website. So you just have to have a mental picture of, oh, I want to place this here, I want to place this. I can as well take all these guest speakers and form a collage, put them in a collage and put their names, whatever works for you. Just make sure it is appealing to the eyes. So this is where the design principle comes in, where I apply that design principle we talked about, and etc. etc. So so let's move to the next one. So additional resources you could watch, read some books on Canva designs. You could also watch YouTube tutorials. The more you listen to, the more you watch all these things, the better you become. That's just the truth. And then you can challenge yourself. You can pick up a design, try to analyze the design, try to recreate that design. Look at the design. Oh, there's a shape here. There's a circle shape here. There's a square. There's a gradient view. There's a transparency level of 20. The text is this. I want to use this text. I want to use a fancy text. Try to recreate designs. Practice, 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 practice. And when you see a template you like, don't just use the template directly. Try to recreate the template, work on the template, make it unique, make it your own, remodify it. Don't just copy a template and just use everything. At least try to make it. The more you practice, the better you become. And so these are links for additional materials. I want to thank you for listening. It has really been a wonderful time with you all. So questions and answers. I'll be taking question and answer now. And remember, tomorrow we'll be having our practical class on Canva. You'll be designing. I'll give you a design sample to work with. I'll give you the image. I'll give you the type of text. So you have to familiarize yourself with the environment, with Canva environment. You need to go to Canva, check the environment, check how it looks like, familiarize yourself with the environment, where you can see the text, where you can see the alignments, wherever you can see how you can upload, familiarize yourself with it. So tomorrow will come. I'm still going to put you through. So but tomorrow we're going to now do like a practical section where you design a sample of what I will give you, and then you submit it for your post workshop assessment. Yeah, so thank you for having me. Yeah, I'll be giving room for the next speaker. Cheers.